on 3 of the pistons, the one rig So I checked the measurements in the spec, and actually I have a beautiful engine because the factory spec for the cylinder bores is 2.9010. So I am only 3 10,007-inch bigger than the factory. Here I'm only 2 10,007-inch bigger, here I'm exact, here I'm 2 10,007-inch bigger. The taper is maximum 15, the out of round is maximum 10,007-inch, and I am within these tolerances everywhere. So my cylinders are perfect, so I'm just gonna hone them, clean up the block, and I don't need to do anything with it. The same thing for the crankshaft. The journals, here my journals are between 11 and 13 10,007-inch, above 2 inches, and the spec is 2 inches and 0.005 to 2 inches and 0.010 10,007-inch. So I don't know even how come my journals are a little bit bigger than the spec, like 1 10,007-inch and 3 10,007-inch, but I guess that's normal. The crank pins are, the spec is 1.6250 to 1.6255, and I am everywhere within this spec. So my crankshaft is brand new. And same thing for the pistons. In the pistons I measured in 2 directions, but actually it appears that I don't have to measure this direction because that's normal, it's different. My piston, the top, for example, in first cylinder is 2.8955, and my cylinder number 1 is 2.9013, and this means that I have a clearance of 13 minus 5 is 8, 10 minus 5 is 5, and then this is going to be 0.0. So my clearance is 0.0058 10,007-inch in the cylinder, between the piston and the cylinder. That's in number 1, and for number 2, 3 and 4 it's pretty much the same picture. It's 58 to 63, I think, 10,007-inch the clearance. So I'm gonna consider that good size, and I'm gonna keep my pistons. I'm gonna change just the rings because they're seized anyways, and I'm gonna keep the crankshaft. I'm not gonna machine it, I'm not gonna machine the block. I'm just gonna clean everything, I'm gonna hone the cylinders, and I'm good. So now I only need to disassemble the head and see what's the situation there. Okay, so we tested the head yesterday, as you saw, and it didn't look very good for the first cylinder. So I'm gonna take apart all of them, and I will see if there is a carbon at the back of the valves, and that's what's causing them not to close properly, or maybe there's another issue. So we're gonna see. We will see about that, okay? So first of all, I'm gonna have to take the valves out. To do that, I'm gonna use my special tool, and my tool is this. Vice grips with 2 washers welded at the top and the bottom. So what I do now is I just do this. Okay, Now I can remove the keys. And now it's gonna fly on me, right? No, it didn't. Okay. So it's single spring. Okay, I can mix this up. And let's see what does the valve look like. Is that the first one? Yeah, that's number 1. See how much carbon there is at the back? Wow. Okay, so we'll clean these up and we will see. So I'm just gonna put them in order in some piece of cardboard or something so I don't mix them up. There we go. Otherwise the stem looks really good. Can't really tell right now, but I'm gonna clean them and we will see. So that's number 1. And we go for number 2. Being very careful at the bottom not to scratch the surface of the head. Wow. Okay. This is where I'm always afraid not to get it flying free. Okay, so I'm gonna keep the guides here. I don't want to take them out, not really. And I'm gonna try to clean the head with I don't know what, with WD-40 I guess. Not really sure if it goes such small size. Oh, it does. I have the feeling that I can almost remove them by hand. That's good. This is where the water should be able to travel. And here we have a lot of dust. See, so I have to find a way to clean all that inside. It turned out it wasn't that bad actually, so after probably an hour of poking with screwdrivers and blowing through the hose, I think the result was satisfying. So I jumped on to cleaning the head with Scotch-Brite and WD-40, but for some reason I'm missing the first part, but anyways, you can see enough of it. It's not as easy as I was expecting, but it goes, keeps going, as long as you give it enough time to soak. Not too much pressure. I guess it's even if you push a lot, it's not gonna do much better. You just need to pass enough times through each and every spot. Okay, I'm gonna let this one soak a little bit more, and I'm gonna move to the second one, but then I'm gonna come back here. I have this brush. Let me try with that to see what is it gonna help. Maybe. Yeah, I need a lot more in the edges, but again, I'm gonna let it soak. I'm gonna move on to the next one. So this is a plastic stick that I use for windows. I think they call it glass stick. And I'm gonna use it to try to remove the carbon from the corners, because this is where I can't really reach with the scrubbing pad. And I think it comes out because it's softened by the WD-40. Yeah, comes out. Well, there was a lot of scrubbing and took a long time, but the result was satisfying. And I'm not gonna bother you with that anymore, so let's move to the next step, which is cleaning up the valves, or actually the back of the valves from the carbon. I've shown that before in another video. I think it was for the 1973 TR6, but for those who haven't watched it, I'm gonna show a little bit of the process here again. So I'm putting this masking tape there so I can mount the valve into the chuck of my air drill, and then I will be able to spin the valve while cleaning the back with wire brush. So I'm supposed to clean the valves here. Usually I do it on this wire brush, which is brass wire brush, but it's almost disintegrated now and I don't have a new one for here. So I did another thing. I made this setup here on the vise. I clamped my angle grinder, and I'm going to use that to clean the valve. Okay, so that's before. You can see the back, you can see the face. It's really bad. Let's see now what's going to happen. this valve is shut. Yeah. Okay, it cleaned up nicely, but it is shot. You see this one here? It's damaged. Otherwise the carbon is all gone, but here, come on. But here this is really bad, so this valve is gone. Okay, let's see the next one. Okay, this one looks much better. It has really nice surface here and the face looks good. So yeah, I'm gonna clean them all and I'll see. Maybe I'm gonna buy new valves, maybe I'm gonna keep some of them. It depends. This one looks good as well. So I cleaned up all the valves and it turned out that all the exhaust valves needed to be replaced because they were all pitted, and the number one, as you saw, was dented. I have no idea how did that happen. But anyways, I decided to keep the intake and order exhaust valves. But again, this is what I decided to do. What I actually did is something else, which you're gonna see in probably one of the next videos. And another thing I want to try is some of the rings, actually 3 of them, are seized. Not completely, like you see this one, I can move it a little bit, so it moves from here to somewhere here, but the other side is seized inside. Even this side is moving, but here it's where it's seized. And on one of them I tried to pry it out with my fingers, and what I did was, where did it go? So what I did was I snapped it. So it looks like it is almost out, but it's not. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna heat it with the propane torch and we'll see if it's gonna come out. So very gently I'm gonna clamp that here, really gently. Let me remove the other one so it's not on my way. So I'm gonna heat it lightly, not too much. Yeah, I tried to pry it with the screwdriver and I snapped one more piece out of it. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna heat it and I'm gonna spray it with WD-40 while it's hot, and that's gonna smoke. Not too much. Okay, I'm gonna let that soak a little bit, and I'm gonna try the next one. I'm gonna shove this underneath so it gives it a little bit of pressure. Doesn't want to go anywhere. Let's try the third one. And this one is free in this half, but from here till the end is dead. So I'm gonna turn it around actually. There's nothing. Wow. Let's go back to our first one. Now that's gonna smoke. Snap it one more time, and now I have just this little piece from here to here, which is so stubborn. Wow. Yeah, obviously the heat doesn't help a lot, so I'm gonna have to try something else. I think I'm gonna soak them in brake fluid. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, we have this bucket with brake fluid that we use for things like that. So I'm gonna just soak them here, and then I'm gonna let them sit for a couple of days, and hopefully they're gonna get unseized. Okay, so I'm gonna let you watch them unseizing for 3 days. Is that fine?